we prepare to return to the spiritual home of show jumping for the Global Champions League, make sure you have your umbrella ready for round 12. The Berlin Eagles will be looking to wrestle the championship lead away from the Stockholm Hearts. And that battle for top 4 with the Prague playoffs just around the corner could not be tighter. Let's get ready for round 12 live from the Tops International Arena. This is Valkenswaard. This is round 12 of the GCL. This is the really intriguing stage of the season where the events start coming through thick and fast. And not only are they coming through thick and fast, but they are coming through at an incredibly important time with the Prague playoffs right around the corner. Every single championship point that is won or lost at this particular stage can be crucial as the teams fight for the championship, as the teams fight for a GCL Super Cup semi-final playoff, as the teams fight for survival in the 2022 season. And all of that will take place at today's Tops International Arena, stage 12 of the Global Champions League. And what better way to start off today's show, what better way to start the stage than we're speaking to the defending champions and the home team for Valkenswaard United today, Edwin Tops Alexander, joining us on the show. Edwin, thank you for joining us today. I don't see an umbrella. I hope that you are dry as we chat.
All good. Perfect weather. Thanks. Yeah.
Perfect weather. Edwina, I think many would be surprised to not see you on the starting list today. Can you take us through the thinking behind the selection?
Well, last week I was in London and Fellow was there and he jumped great. Unfortunately, I did have one down in a time fault, but he's in good shape. And I just thought, you know, he did quite a lot of jumping. He jumped the warm-up. So in total in the Grand Prix, he jumped 5 rounds. So I thought I better, you know, save him, prepare him, get him organized. He did a small class today and jumped very good. So depending on how the other 2 jump today, I'm there for the team if they need me. And we're going to make a plan after the class.
And Edwina, after a difficult start to the season, you guys have now put yourself in a strong position, just 7 points behind the Prague Lions, knocking on the door of the top 4. Can you tell us about what the team conversation has been like in the build-up this week?
I mean, you know, we have to just really try to be consistent. And I mean, you know, we're a little bit weak and we've been consistently 5th, I have to say, in most of the competitions. So we have to do better than that, and we have to really focus on these next few events to push ourselves up higher and to be in a better position going into Prague.
You mentioned that it hasn't been perhaps the best defensive season for Valkenswaard United. Yes, we know that 2021 was an outstanding season and there's been a change of personnel for the team, obviously. But that victory in Hamburg showed the talent that the team has. Have you been able to work out maybe why you weren't able to replicate the success of 2021 more this year?
To be quite honest, I really think it's so important to have a good start to the season. I think it gives you motivation, confidence. I think it really builds a very strong base for the team. And I think, you know, it's not to say that you can't win throughout the season, but it definitely, if you see Prague Lions and if you see how we were last year, and it definitely helps a lot, you know. And you can't look backwards. You always have to look forwards. You always have to really try to be positive and try to do your best and try to get the best out of everything. You know, this year we've had obviously Olympics, and I think, you know, we've had to prioritize the teams as well, but which hasn't been easy. Sorry, the World Championships. So yeah, there's been a few things going on, and you know, we've got some fantastic riders, and you know, it's a privilege for me to be able to ride with some of these riders. I would never get that opportunity otherwise. So we've just got to do head down, focus, and jump clear rounds.
Speaking of your fantastic riders, Laura Crouch, John Whittaker starting for the team today. You mentioned clear rounds. Maybe that's my answer. What can we expect from the team this weekend?
I mean, we expect clear rounds. I've told them that's all you've got to do. It's as easy said than done. But look, I know they're going to try their best. And John's got his best horse in today. Laura's horse is a very interesting horse. She was double clear in Cannes. And I actually...
Unfortunately, we seem to have lost Edwin Alexander, but we did get some great insight from her, especially looking back to the difficulties that have come from Valkenswaard United in the 2022 season. Just to confirm that she then will not be jumping today for Valkenswaard United. She did jump as an individual already earlier on today, so good to see her getting into the motion on Friday, and I have no doubt that she will be jumping in tomorrow's round 2. But as it stands now, Laura Kraut and John Whittaker will be jumping in round 1 of the Global Champions League. So Valkenswaard United, third team out the gate, no Edwin Alexander. And as we said, they are closing in on Prague Lions. They are targeting a top 4 finish, and the defending champions will still be looking to try and get as close to that top 4 in Prague later on this year at the Global Champions Playoff. Now, first time for us to catch up with Frederick Deuber. Now, Frederick, I know that the weather perhaps has turned, but tell us what we can expect from Valkenswaard this afternoon.
Well, Mark, the weather is it's not like yesterday. Actually, it's windy. It's a little bit cloudy. It's not cold, but it's way fresher than it was yesterday. No longer 33 degrees. It's 23. But let's go to the to the topic, to the matter. And this is, of course, about the race for the championship. We've got 4 stages left, including Valkenswaard. It's all about the championship race. It's all about the race for the top 4 as well. Let's talk championship first. At first, it is the battle between Berlin Eagles and Stockholm Hearts, where Stockholm Hearts have thrown a new log on the fire without them wanting it, but they did so in London. That lead of Stockholm Hearts, powered by H&M, now reduced to 7 points on the championship table. It's Berlin Eagles chasing them. The question is Shanghai Swans also a team that is going to challenge them over those last 4 stages for the championship? Don't forget, they've just jumped into the top 4, jumped to 3rd place, and Manon Zanottelli yesterday told me that the team has the ambition to still play a game in that championship race. So that's top 3. If you look at top 4, there's actually 7 teams that are still in contention for that top 4. And the big question will be here, all eyes will be on Paris Panthers. Niall Nassar comes back for the very first time for Paris Panthers. Is Niall Nassar going to be able to maneuver the ship, to steer the ship towards top 4? Because if it doesn't happen here, I'm afraid it will be over. This could become the stage where Paris Panthers not only lose the championship, but also lose the fight for top 4. So that's something to look at. And then Prague Lions, they sit in 4th at the moment, and it's all those teams like the home team Valkenswaard United hovering around it that will be battling for top 4, and every team that underperforms is going to take a massive blow. This is basically about everybody not dropping the ball. Whoever blinks first loses. That's going to be the story, I think, of Valkenswaard.
All right, thank you very much, Frederick. I like that a lot. The first team that blinks this weekend will be the team to miss out. That is how tight things are getting. We will head back to Tops International Arena. We'll catch up with Frederick Deuber again in a few moments' time. But let's talk about how and why the championship race has been blowed so wide open. We need to take you back to London and remind you as to what took place in the previous stage, in round 11 of the Global Champions League, because there was one particular round from Lily Atwood that really did open things up. There was a refusal for the Stockholm Hearts, powered by H&M Star. That refusal landed up costing her and her team tremendously, essentially bringing to an end their quest to find any success in London and opening up the doorway for other teams. Paris Panthers went into round 2 in pole position and looked to be set for a victory. Gregory Watley going on to jump clear, as did Yoli Mitilineo, but they fell away and opened up the door for the Berlin Eagles, and they were able to jump double clear. Philip Weishaupt, Christian Kukuk, they stayed clear. They were able to deliver the title, and because of that, Stockholm Hearts down in 15th finished the weekend, and the Berlin Eagles, powered by Fundis Reisport, going on to finish in top place, take maximum points and eat into that championship lead that is now down to just 7 points. Let's show you what the championship table looks like now and just give you a clearer idea as to how tight things are. 214 now placed 207. And as Frederick mentioned, the Shanghai Swans now enter the conversation of the championship and believe that they are championship contenders. But just 20 points separating the Prague Lions in 4th to Valkenswaard, Madrid, Paris and Hamburg down in 8th. That is how tight the pursuit for top 4 is. That is how tight the battle for the GCL Super Cup semi-finals is. And it will all play out here today The weather might not be great. Conditions might get a little bit tricky throughout the rest of the weekend, but these are the best riders in the world. There are the team members that are looking to try and chase down the Stockholm Hearts. How good will the Berlin Eagles be? Let's remind you that Ludger Beerbomb and Miller make a return this afternoon. We haven't seen Ludger Beerbomb and Miller for quite some time. It has been Christian Kuckuck and Philip Weishaupt for a few events. Now, all of a sudden, the Kaiser, Ludger Beerbomb, makes his return to Valkenswaard and will be hoping for some success. There's also been a turn in the books for the Hamburg Giants. They welcome back an old face to the Global Champions League, who finally returns to GCL stage. Kevin Jochens will perform for the Hamburg Giants this weekend.
I'm 27 years old. I was doing the Global a couple of years ago. Always had good owners, but horses get sold. Now lucky enough to be back.
So Global is not totally unknown for you, right? Can you tell us more about it?
No, it's true. The first year the teams were out, when the GCL started actually, I was in. So under 25 at that time, and I did it for 2 years. Yeah, no, a couple of years not.
So now Hamburg Giants.
Yeah, I'm lucky enough that I can be part of the Hamburg Giants still this season. Got a new sponsor with new horses, and I could start in straight away. It's obviously a really nice opportunity. So we take it with 2 hands and try to make the best of it.
What can you tell us about your horses?
I got 6 from this sponsor. I brought here Crisscross and El Rocco for the 5-star. There are 2 experienced horses. I have a good feeling on them. They both did 2 shows with me, which felt good. So I picked those 2. And El Rocco, well known. He's 13 years old, so he has quite a bit of experience in this level. I did 2 shows before with him. Felt good. Felt good yesterday at home, today here. We'll see tomorrow.
Okay, entering the ring, this arena, or how can you describe it?
Yeah, I can't say I'm very nervous, but obviously you feel a little bit. There are people around you. You feel that on your shoulders. You want to do good, for sure. I always want to do good, but here it's like home. There are so many people coming to watch here Friday and Saturday that you know very well. You really want to show them what you have.
So you're ready for this weekend?
I hope so. It feels like I am.
So there we see the Hamburg Giants. Earlier on hearing from Kevin Jochens, who will be coming out for the team this afternoon alongside Jur Freeling that you see in picture. How will the once championship contenders be able to perform in these difficult conditions at Valkenswaard later on this afternoon? We will find out. They will be the 6th team to come out the gate later on today for Global Champions League Round 1. First team, in fact, will be Madrid in Motion. Eric and Michael van der Vleuten will be the first 2 members to come out of Global Champions League Round 1. But Frederick de Bakker is standing by for us once again as we head back. Frederick, I'm impressed. No umbrella, no raincoat. It's opened up slightly. I was worried you were going to be hiding under a rain jacket.
I was expecting to, but I've been seemingly have been a good boy lately, and so the gods of the weather gods are favorable with me. They gave me no rain. They wait with the rain until I'm in my commentary position, and then just downpour.
I hope that it stays that way. Before we get to the teams, let's talk about that. I remember some incredible scenes last year when there was almost tsunami conditions in Valkenswaard. Very different now, but talk to us about how that can impact the turf. How can it impact the conditions? What must the riders be prepared for if heavy rain falls this weekend once again?
That's a funny thing. It doesn't impact the turf. The ground is so good, it drains really well. They've got it always in immaculate condition. It doesn't affect turf, of course. It will affect the riders. Having a wet jacket and wet breeches is one thing, but when the rain comes flying into your eyes or in your horse's eyes, that's not really nice. They get a little bit distracted, get a little bit uncomfortable, and you sometimes see that in the jump or in the approach to a jump. But for the rest, I wouldn't worry too much about it at first.
At first. Frederick, we spoke to Edwin and Alexander a little bit earlier on, and perhaps many would have imagined that the anchor for the defending champions on home ground would be the first name on the team selection. She said to us that she is obviously available and will be jumping if needed. Talk to me about perhaps from your perspective, the surprise to see Laura Kraut, John Whittaker, no Edwina Alexander. Is that going to be a big call from them this weekend?
I don't know how big is big. I made some notes, but I wrote them upside down, so I apologize for having my cue card the other way around. Edwina Alexander jumped 13 rounds, 3 clears. Gilles Thomas, 8 rounds, 3 clears. John Whittaker, 8 rounds, 4 clears. That's half, 50%. Laura Kraut, 4 rounds, 2 clears, 50%. Ening, 8 rounds, 5 clears. Ening isn't here. So purely on paper, the others have got a better score rate. There's also different thinking that stood out. I was always surprised that Gilles Thomas didn't feature more on the team than he did until now. But maybe that has also something to do with the individual position. Edwina Alexander currently sits 6th on the championship table. So far, it was always Gilles Thomas who was the highest ranked individual on the LGCT circuit from the team. Maybe that was why he got a little bit more of a breather to defend his individual position on the LGCT championship. Now that is Edwina Alexander, who is 6th. This is her home turf. This is an important stage for her. Maybe that is also playing, I don't know, but it is possible that is on the mind of those that select for Valkenswaard United.
Frederick, another name that stands out is Ludger Beerbomb. We expected him to return to Valkenswaard. He hasn't performed too much at the ground, especially last year. I wonder now, with the momentum behind the Berlin Eagles, powered by Fundis Reisport, are they favourites to wrestle that championship lead back? Would that be the headline of this weekend? Could it happen?
Most certainly that could happen. Most certainly that would be the headline. Actually, Philip Weishaupt is just hovering around, waiting for me to catch up with him. Philip, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Not so bad, thank you very much. Mark Lewis said, is it possible that Berlin Eagles take the lead in the Global Champions League season? I'm very confident in saying, yes, it's possible. How do you feel about it?
That they win?
No, that Berlin Eagles take over the lead in the championship. I think it's possible.
For sure, it's possible. I mean, everything can happen. We know we don't have a scratch result. We came with a, I think, very strong team with Ludger and Mila and me and Kobi. I mean, we have totally focused on here on the league, and it's still a long time till the overall is finished, and everything can happen in that sport.
Oh, with 4 stages, that's not that much time. But take me back to London. In London, with Kobi, I praised you and I said, if it comes down to time and Berlin Eagles, powered by Fundis Reisport, are early to go of those teams on double clear, it's going to be Kobi who's going to lay down the gauntlet and put the pressure. And then I saw you, and you, for my feeling, tell me if I'm wrong, kind of rode with the handbrake on. That was not a traditional Philip Weishaupt and Kobi round, was it?
No, but you have to find the balance. We were first of the 5, and if I would be last going in, I know what I have to do. If you have the other teams behind you, you want to put a little bit of pressure, but what the past tells us, if you ride double clear, you are pretty much in front all the time. And then I saw Christian jumping clear on Mumbai, and I said, okay, put a little bit speed, but not too much, but make sure the rails are staying up. And in the end, that was a good strategy.
Was that your own opinion, or was it something that Ludger Beerbomb told you before you went in, as he was also present there in London, or was it your own idea?
After 25 years of doing this, I have a little bit of an idea myself what is best, and I have to feel a little bit what my horse wants or thinks, what I feel in that moment is the best. And obviously, like I said, if they are all behind you, you have to play a bit smart.
Yeah, there's no problem for you to play smart. Thank you very much, Philip Weishaupt. Wish you best of luck in round 1 or here at stage 12 of Global Champions League season this year. Mark, Berlin Eagles powered by Fundis Reisport. They have got the advantage slightly, I think, over Stockholm Hearts powered by H&M. They've got the momentum. Stockholm Hearts have to go early. Berlin Eagles can wait and see what happens. They go, I think, 12th only in the first round here in a few minutes in Valkenswaard. And also, I think that Stockholm Hearts is really feeling the pressure. Things aren't going the way they planned. Of course, that 21 points that they lost on the championship table will put pressure, will land on their shoulders of the two Lilies, Lily Atwood and Lily Keenan.
And Frederick, we are quickly running out of time, but I do want to ask you if there is a particular fence, a particular line that is standing out for you on that Tops International turf that could perhaps be a little tricky. Anything that has stood out for you that has been put together to challenge the riders today?
I think into the triple combination is interesting, especially out of the triple combination, stands much taller than the rest. And also the first line, it's a very direct 8 and then a holding 6 into the combination. But it's all very jumpable. And once it gets very jumpable, there's something that pops out of the box, unexpected, but also time allowed. I do think that the time allowed could play a role here, because you've got a lot of room with a lot of rollbacks and a lot of turns, where if you just get if you start your turn just 10 centimeters too late or too wide, that has a massive impact on the full circle. So time allowed is going to play a role. Out of the triple combination might play a role, and I think here 3A, 3B into that double and inside the double itself could stand out for me, All right, Frederick de Backer, thank you very much for your time. I hope that the weather continues to improve. Head off to your commentary box. He will be one of the many language options available to you on GCTV this afternoon. That'll be bringing you all of the action as we get ready for round 1 of the Global Champions League. As he has brought up, Stockholm Hearts, powered by H&M, will be jumping with the two Lilies this afternoon, Atwood and Keenan. And in fact, we caught up with Lily Atwood after that disappointing performance in London and how that has opened up the championship. Here's what Lily Atwood had to say.
He felt good warming up, and then, you know, he went in there a little bit tense and just had two jumps done. I thought I should save him for another day, so I just came out. And, you know, he was jumping well, but again, that's just how it goes sometimes. So I had 2 jumps down, so I wasn't going to be in the money or the jump off. And, you know, I thought, he's got next week to go on and keep him a bit fresh for that, so I thought coming out of the ring was the best thing to do. I'm over it already, really. Shit happens. Sorry, stuff happens.
Putting it behind her and looking for success today in Valkenswaard, that will be the call for Stockholm Hearts. What about Paris Panthers, who many believe this is the last roll of the dice? Well, Niall Nasser met up with Frederick de Backer for Team Talk.
I think we're at 4 stages left, only 13-point gap to 4th place. So realistically, I think that's a fair goal for us to set for ourselves. I mean, as you mentioned, the season hasn't been particularly smooth sailing, but it also hasn't been terrible. You know, just unlucky 4s here and there, 1 bad round sprinkled in. But you know, we're still within touching distance of that top 4 finish that we kind of set out to start the year out with, and hopefully we'll be able to get there.
And can you give me any idea of who is going to start in round 1 and what might be the plan or option for round 2?
I think Dara is probably going to start in round 1, and Ben is going to jump his newer horse in that class, just not on the team. And then depending on how the horses go, we'll adjust for round 2.
Do you feel like you've got a team that can put out a good result here?
I hope so. Yeah, I think so. I mean, the ring here jumps incredibly well. You know, for a grass field, it seems like, you know, most horses are very comfortable on it. We have 3 experienced riders here, so hopefully we can get the job done.
So the update from Team Talk is the fact that it won't be Ben Mayer and Derek Kenny. It will be Niall Nasser who will be jumping in round 1 for the Paris Panthers as they look to try and get themselves back inside the top 4, doing the course walk along with Ben Mayer and Rob Hoekstra there. They will be starting for the Paris Panthers. Global Champions League round 1 is coming next here on GCTV. So stay with us throughout the rest of the afternoon. We go live to Valkenswaard, live to round 12 of the competition. Stay with us here for every jump, every moment and every fence next on GCTV.